shifted, so shit looks different right now. Yeah, I've been shifted, shit looks different right now. Cause I've been shifted, shit looks different right now. I've been shifted, shit looks different in my vision. Everything forgiven, love is always winning. Hate me from a distance, listen. I've been shifted, this shit looks different right now. I've been shifted, so shit looks different right now. To my climate I adapt, change me and not that. Make the best where I'm at, somewhere way off the map. People grow, things change, new parts, new names, new rules, same game. No one leaves here the same, no one gets out of life. Do you live or survive? Do you do it or try? Every truth has lies, so you really can't tell where the sea meets sky, where a dream meets die. We are one, let's fly. I've been shifted, so shit looks different right now. I've been shifted, shit looks different right now. Cause I've been shifted, shit looks different right now. I've been shifted, shit looks different in my vision. Everything forgiven, love is always winning. Hate me from a distance, listen. I've been shifted, this shit looks different right now. I've been shifted, so shit looks different right now.
Hey, what's up, y'all? um, what's going on, y'all? My name is Kenny. Um, y'all seen me before if y'all been here, but I am the cultural programmer here at the Mosaic Cross Cultural Center. I also use they, them pronouns. Um, and welcome to our Women's Herstory Month open mic. We're excited to make this happen and collaborate with the Gen X Center and with the Student Union. And we're also very excited to have Kai Davis here tonight as our featured artist and Aisha Williams as our featured student artist. Um, so before we get into the good stuff, we got to handle some business. I know. Y'all know the deal. We got to go through our community agreements, just so we can hold space with some grace. So yes, there they are. Thank you, Sharon. um, so yeah, free speech, not hate speech. Um, we're here. We can express ourselves, say what we feel, say what we think. But we gotta recognize that there's a difference between free speech and hate speech. Let's not attack a certain community or group of people or any type of thing like that. Next, express, not impress. We are here to express ourselves, right? No need to feel like you got to be perfect or you got to impress somebody. I mean, hey, if you want to impress somebody, you can impress them, please. But don't feel like that is your main purpose here. Like, you can just express yourself. We encourage you to be yourself. Perfection is a tool of white supremacy. Think about that. And of course, please provide trigger warnings before any piece that you might feel might affect somebody. The power of your story can cause a painful impact. So keeping all that in mind, we encourage everyone to chat in the live stream chat box thingy, so we can all build community, have fun together. And also with the chat, there will be a link coming out for live signups if y'all feel inspired by our amazing artists tonight to share some of your gifts. So please do that if you feel compelled or inspired. And also on top of that, we need to give some acknowledgement to the original stewards of North America. As we're all spread out, with COVID and everything, it's important that we kind of take a step back and remember that Indigenous people are the true stewards here of North America. We encourage you to search and learn about the Indigenous people in your area. You can do this by going to native-land.ca. Or if you don't want to do all that typing, you can go to, number, well, it's going to be in the chat, but 1-907-312-5085. So yeah, just text your city, text your state, and they'll respond back with the Indigenous people of your area. I do mine every time we do this, and I'm in San Jose right now. So the Indigenous folks from this area are the Ohlone and the Tamian people. So we acknowledge you, we honor you. But yes, thank you. Make sure y'all do that. Get educated. But now I would like to invite Aisha, who will be my wonderful co-host tonight and our featured student artist. Please come out and introduce yourself. What's good?
What's up? I'm so excited to be here. First of all, thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Mosaic, for having me. So first of all, my name is Aisha Williams. You can call me Aish because a lot of people tend to mess my name up, which is fine. We all make mistakes. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm currently a fourth year student at SJSU, studying environmental science, prep for teaching. Yeah, I'm a fourth year, right? So I'm hoping to finish sooner than later. But yeah, so today I will be sharing a lot of poems that I've written in the past few years, since even more so since quarantine. So we're going to get into that. But first, before we do that, I would like to introduce Kiana from the Gender Equity Center to share a little bit more about Women's Herstory Month. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to her.
Thanks, Aisha. Hey, everyone. My name is Kiana. My pronouns are they, them, theirs, and I'm one of the event coordinator interns for the Gender Equity Center. So this month is dedicated to celebrating women's contributions to herstory, not history, herstory, culture, and society, and has been observed annually in the month of March in the U.S. since 1987. Women's Herstory Month 2021 will take place from Monday, March 1st, all the way through Wednesday, March 31st, 2021. So along with tonight's open mic event, there will also be programs like webinars, workshops, and movie screenings throughout the whole month. And the full list of calendar events can be found on our website at bit.ly/SJSUWHM2021. That's all lowercase. And you'll also notice that many of the events are hosted by a diverse group of departments and community partners. Please be sure to check it out. And lastly, to stay connected with the Gender Equity Center, you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at SJSU Gen Ec, and that's SJSU GENEC. I'm going to pass it back over to Kenny.
Thank you, Kiana. Really appreciate you being here. Without further ado, I'm gonna bring back Aisha or Aish to start us off with her set. Aisha.
All right, let's get into it. Hope everyone's doing well. It's been a while since I've shared some of my material, but I'm here for it. So I'm gonna pull up my stuff. Hold on. Okay. So to start us off, I wrote a piece recently, just identifying myself as a Black woman. So this one is called This Black Woman. A mysterious bliss of extraordinary sadness and disappointment. This Black woman holds the shield against the world firmly, but fears life slipping away through her rubbed fingertips. Mysterious, bliss, extraordinary sadness, and disappointment. I don't know if y'all caught that, but that's a mouthful of emotion. Being slit at the throat with no room to breathe. Like this world we live in, with inconsistent loneliness, deep condolences, but no room for put your money where your mouth is, performative ass shit. This Black woman only knows what she knows. She can only hold as much love as the next. You can't expect ignorance to just grow from holes, right? Right. In the meanwhile, our deep rootedness gets scraped off our lovely America and swept under the rug of the earth. This Black woman, but this Black woman, she left a little behind to control thy youth. There's no way my crown will get shot off my head without it falling on the next. She once said that there will forever be an uncontrollable cycle of mystery, continuously ripping through our veins, but unsuccessfully. That's that one. I plan to finish more, so I wrote to be continued at the end. I really like it, so I hope y'all like it too. All right, so that's my first.
Sorry, y'all. We're having some technical difficulties. We're gonna try and get Aisha back, but yeah. Can we get some music? Some music going? Thank y'all. Hold in there.
Filling out my cup, coffee talk on the screen porch. So in love, now you're the one I'm losing sleep for. And I hope the wrong one slip right through your magic fingers. And I hope we find some way to fall in love like we were. Yeah, you're the only reason I was California dreaming in the first place. Seeing you in sundress seasons got me all up in my feelings for the old days, old days. I've got the summertime blues, thinking about you.
Okay, I think we have Aisha back in here. Let's get back into it, yeah? Aisha, let me know.
Hey, yeah, so my Wi-Fi just went out.
No, it wasn't you. It was everybody.
Oh, it was everybody. Okay. All right, we're gonna get, I'm just gonna restart the last one. So welcome back, everyone. All right. Like I said, this one has no title, but it's nice. Nice little flow. All right. My inhumane mentality bores you. You were born with bland seasoning, but I'll still cook you. My life will surprise you. Like an earthquake, you'll be shook. Hooked on the look of me, but your character will never match my excellence. She's black, she's elegant. In your eyes, she got attitude and nappy hair. Oh, but it looked good because she mixed breed. I got time today, please tempt me. Your pity won't brainwash my common sense. Grab my pen and paper just to vent. I keep my anger wrapped up in the moment. It's more about spreading love and putting my anger into other things. The ignorance you live with will do me no justice. Like my coily curls and soul food, you can't touch this. I just pray my people feel this. Yep. I love that one. I wrote that one just kind of to bash on people that don't look like me. So bland people with no seasoning. Yep. Okay. All right. My next piece, it's called I Am Me. It's actually not my piece, but my best friend wrote it, and she she inspires me a lot almost every day to keep writing and just being her. It allows me to grow. She's a very special person in my life. So I wanted to share something she wrote that really inspires me. She is a Black woman, so shout out to her. Her name is Chantel, just for reference. All right, here it goes. It's called I Am Me. Calm, not bored. Safe, not guarded. Trusting, not cynical. The first three words are who I am with you. The last three is who I am with others. This journey just keeps unfolding like a never ending book where something is learned with each page, not every minute. They say everything takes time, but I believe it truly takes understanding because you understand me and almost never have to tell me you do. I just know that you know. So who am I? I'm sure you understand, unlike the others. I know it may sound like it's just a whole bunch of emotions going on in that, but I feel like if you know, you know, like it's just a deep level of thinking that me and my roommate, or not my roommate, sorry, me and my best friend have emotionally. We're very connected, so it hits different, you know, when that relationship is like that. And just to follow up with that one, since she wrote that, she actually helped me write one. It was a short poem. It's called Carve. So I'm gonna go ahead and share that one with y'all. All right, so it's called Carve. Carving my name into the universe. Like I got time to search and escape to find something new to learn. My mind is twisted like my brown lipstick. When I put it on, I'm more confident. Raw depictions and slick definition, a different spirit. You'll either want to risk it or hurt it. I'm sure it'll be worth it. Don't be nervous. My name won't stain the surface. Carve my heart out and search for divergence. Yes, 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 yes. So she helped me with that one. So that's just um, a result of a emotionally connected relationship with your best friend. Like, period. That's how we are. I hope she's watching. If she's not, it's all right. She knows what's up. I'm gonna take a little pause and give y'all a little story background about like my life and kind of how I got into writing. So basically, there wasn't really anything traumatic that really brought me to writing, but I found it myself, and so far it's been pretty therapeutic for me. I run to my pen and paper, to my notes app like a crazy person. Every thought I have, I write it down. So it's just something that I picked up on, and I realized I'm actually okay at writing in general. So poems just something that I'm like drawn to, I guess, so to speak. So I'm just going full throttle with it. Like my bio, I really want people to find interest in what I write and hope that people find inspiration, and even inspiration that gets people to create music with it. And that's one of my goals. Just just for fun. I really love this art. Music is everything. Writing is everything. So, the journey is only beginning. Just so people know what's up. All right. So I'm gonna get into more writings. I should have said a trigger warning to begin with, but I'm gonna go ahead and remind everyone that I might curse. I will curse. I don't know why I'm saying might. I will curse. So yeah, just a heads up. So the next piece I got for y'all is called My Soul and I. It's very short, but it's just a little taste of something deep. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. It's called My Soul and I. My soul and I are weak and tired, but uplifted. She's deep with wounds and treads lightly without resistance. My inner soul lacks understanding of the outside world, but she knows she wants to be in it. It's the force that has no visibility because it lives within you. Yup. Yes. My soul and I. I like that one. It's short and sweet, but it obviously has more room to grow. It could become something even greater. So that's what I like about writing. Like nothing's ever unfinished. Um, yeah, it's a beautiful art. Thanks y'all for the love. Okay. So we're gonna get kind of personal in the next few that I share. Um, I definitely think that something that draws me to writing is my relationships with my family. Each individually, I am a middle child. I have both my parents in my life, mom and dad, a younger sister, and an older brother. And in my life, I call myself, or in my family, in my small circle, I call myself the filler because basically what that means is I'm the person that they kind of go to when they need, you know, that extra opinion or just any advice or just I'm the nurturing type. Um, and I'm proud of it, but of course it could be draining, and I gotta learn to say no and just be able to be there for myself. So I write it out, and
yeah, my mom is actually watching right now, so I had to warn her that I'm kind of getting personal with it, but she doesn't mind because she's also deep and emotional. So gotta love that, right? Okay. So this one is called How Can This Be? This one is about my journey just as a Black woman in the retail world. Also, just the people that I've been able to meet across my path who aren't in agreement with who I am and what I got going on in my life. So this is just me questioning them. Here we go. How can this be? There will forever be a continuous cycle of mystery that I can't control. I keep my past buried deep and my future accessible where I can see. I'm steadily asking why, but I guess I'll never know. How can this be? I don't get it. Boss man still don't see my worth and I'm being pressed down like an uncorked bottle of wine. Don't stress, Shotty, you're next in line. I feel like this line is never ending. He asked me to step into his office and now I'm big sweating. Oh, it's just that there's no room for you right now. It's been 3 years and I'm feeling like a clown. How can this be? That you really think I'm gonna sit around waiting to get what I deserve? Cause fuck what I need. I quit. So yeah, that one, that that's talking about my again my experience with retail and just industry world. And I don't got time for all that. I got bigger and better things to worry about, but I also know that I deserve better than what I'm getting. So that's me talking my shit. Okay. So this one up next, it's a little short. These next two are a part one and a part two. I gave a little background about it. Me just in my life being a filler, in my family. So I am gonna go ahead and start. This first one is called the filler, part one. And I kind of like if y'all were paying attention, and if y'all can kind of like see, I've been kind of repeating myself some lines, and they're all intertwined in a way because it's like my thought process. So I do bring back some like lines that are really catchy that people miss, but I gotta bring it back in the next piece. So this is one. So it's a part one of it. All right, so I'm gonna just go ahead and read it for y'all. It's called the filler. I continuously fill you with my love and fill you with my joy. It's like the rain when it flows from the rooftop onto the concrete floor. I don't even know anymore. Let me evaporate my feelings into this cycle of continuous wishes. I get to be the light in your life, but I only feel darkness. I love the way I am able to feel, and my heart knows it wants this. My mind is on a constant flow of getting through the hardships and the hardship. I give you all of me, but it's something I'm never granted in the end. Truthfully, I can't see the point of it all. If all I deserve turns into a sacrifice again. I need a hug and I need some real love. I'm a simple person and I still have no room to judge. In the end, it'll all be worth it. Trust the process and be the same person. I'm loving and wholesome, trying not to dwell on the past and praying that it's worth it. So, yep, that's the filler, part one. Thanks, y'all. I'm seeing all the love. Okay. So, the second one I have for y'all, or it's the filler, part two, edited basically, but I stole some lines from the filler part one. So I'm just go ahead and get into it. All right. My mind is on a constant flow of getting through the hardships and the hardship. I get to be the light in your life, but I only feel darkness. The nurturing, the open mindedness, arms spread open freely to reveal my soul of bliss. Why can I resist the hearts of sorrow? Teach me your ways so that I'm focused only on my heart to fix. My cold shoulders, sweaty hands, and red eyes, always feeding into the needs of the other side. Real subtle, always in the need to feel. Rarely reciprocated love, but love is always what it is. Yeah, I really like that one too. I be writing, y'all, and honestly, it just hits my soul because I know where it's coming from. So I hope my thing is I just hope someone feels it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Someone feels it. Yes, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the heat rising. Okay. I'm gonna do two more. One is short, and then I'm gonna end on a very like emotionally intense note. I love positivity, of course, but we gotta be real sometimes and be emotional and be vulnerable. So I'm gonna go ahead and read a short one that I call "Trippin'." So this is for everybody that feel me for real. All right, so here we go. You gotta respect my gayness to get to know me. You gotta respect my straightness, even if you're holy. I don't read between the lines because that's the old me. I keep my knife sharp and my guard up at all times. I'm tired of hearing the corny rhymes. It's cliche to me. Read closer and you'll see. I feel like that needs a little background, and honestly, I might read it again afterwards. Um, and really, what that one means is pretty straight up. But I'm a very fluid person when it comes to like my love life. I mean, I'm unavailable right now, but when it comes to my love life, I am very fluid. I'm open to people, um, and just the energy that I give, I want it back. So that's all I'm about. So basically, what it's saying is respect my gayness, respect my straightness, and so yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and read it for y'all. Just a little reminder. All right, tripping. You gotta respect my gayness to get to know me. You gotta respect my straightness, even if you're holy. I don't read between the lines because that's the old me. I keep my knife sharp and my guard up at all times. I'm tired of hearing the corny rhymes. It's cliche to me. Read closer and you'll see. That's one of my favorites. I definitely plan to build on that too. I just like short ones for now. We just leave them there, for the future, for future Aisha to come back to it and be like, oh yeah, we started something right here. So really, that's what that was. All right, I'm just editing something. All right, so my last one, maybe the last few I'm gonna share. This one is called Lost Blood. This is just me spilling my heart on the table, basically, about my family of five life, and it's not really detailed to where you know every detail. Again, detail, I double detailed on that. Um, so it's very vague, but it's like, oh dang, like that. It's kind of like that, like a cliffhanger. Um, so I'm gonna read it. Yeah, all right. Lost blood. Who got lost blood? Like my future was self-made and my conscience was engraved. Reflecting on my childhood, yeah, you can probably guess it. Two parents, both angry, never can sit down to discuss shit. They brought three kids into the world trying to excuse me. They brought three kids into the world trying to run away from the percussion when I never even got to learn how to read music. I bleed heavy like the roots of the translucent, like I am the solution. To a bittersweet ending with all the fingers pointed at each other, and there begins the resenting and never ending venting, soft spoken collecting, overzealous roots from hell and shit. Us kids, we're we're rebellious. Two giants throwing arrows at each other, flowing at a speed of darkness. Familiar grain, oblivion. It's lost blood, a never-ending cycle of lost love. I'm gonna stop for myself. Yeah, that one's tough for me. Like, I really, really like that one. So I just want to say thank you all for listening and tuning in. If you don't already, I'm just gonna shout my art page out. It's on Instagram at versatility silly me. So go ahead and tune in if y'all want to see more material. I hope to grow from here. So thank you again for the opportunity, Mosaic, and thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you so much, Aisha. Give it up, y'all, in the chat. I want to see some snaps. I see hella snaps from Jazz. But yeah, thank you so much, Aisha. We really appreciate you coming out tonight and sharing with us. Very, very beautiful artwork. I really appreciate it. So we do have another section. We have Kai Davis coming up next. Let's see, should we get right into it? Do y'all need a break? Let me know. Do y'all need to go to the bathroom? Do y'all need a snack? Get some water? Let me know. Because either way, we can get right into it. I think we can get right into it. So, if Aisha wants to come back and introduce our featured artists for the night, we can get into this next performance.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Kenny. All right, so I'm just gonna give a little background on our featured artist, Kai Davis. Her pronouns are she, her, just so everyone knows. She is a Black queer writer, performer, and teaching artist from Philadelphia. Her work explores Blackness, queerness, womanhood, and the many ways these identities converge. Kai has performed for TEDx Philly, CNN, BET, PBS, and NPR, among others. Like, that's big, y'all. We got a famous person in the chat. Okay. She is a two-time international Grand Slam champion, winning Brave New Voices in 2011, and oh my God, the and the College Union Poetry Slam Invitational in 2016. In 2017, Kai received the Leeway Transformation Award, which was it was a basically award for women and trans folks, or trans artists and cultural producers in Philly. It was basically a chance to spread social change, and I think that's pretty amazing that Kai was a part of that. And she's also currently a co-organizer for the Philly Pigeon Poetry Slam and Retreat, poetry editor for Apiary Magazine. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. And a member of the Philadelphia Poet Committee. Her work has been published by Two Pens and Lint in 2012, The Offing in 2018, The Shade Journal in 2019, and is forthcoming in Mouths of Rain, an anthology of Black lesbian thought. Like, the list can go on, obviously. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let y'all find out about Kai Davis tonight. I'm gonna pass it on to you, Kai. Thank you.
Hi, can everyone hear me? Thanks for the introduction, Aisha. All right, let's get right into it. So I have a set. For everybody that is, just rooted in the experience of Black womanhood. This first poem, it's one of the poems I like to perform a lot because it kind of hits home each time. I was really, really angry when I wrote it, and I still feel that every single time I return to it. Part of me wishes that it wasn't still relevant, but it is what it is. And I wrote this after Sojourner Truth's famous speech, "Ain't I a Woman?" So we'll get right into it. I wake up with an apology already forming in my mouth. This is what it means to be a contradiction. Too black to be a woman and not man enough to be black. This is what it means to occupy a vacant space. Have everyone slash each cross-stitched intersection of my identity with a straight blade. Tell me to pick one label or none at all. But ain't I a woman? When a black man tells me I'm too thick for my own good, when he follows me down the street, when I say no in 3 different octaves, ain't I a woman? When a white girl in my class calls us we, speaks of a universal need, says woman is the new black, talks picket signs like I've never marched before, talks injustice like I never met a cop before. When she hushes me, then speaks on my behalf, ain't I a woman? Ain't I a woman when the moon is full? When my mother rolls my naps in her palms, when my father shouts Harambe 7 times on New Year's Day, and I've been writing this poem for 3 years straight. Ain't Sojourner Truth been doing the same? Ain't Bell Hooks? Ain't Ntozake Shange? Just the story that never makes the news. The vacant space that fills the airwaves, the silence of unwritten eulogies. Ain't this Liberia? Ain't this Haiti? Ain't this North Philly? Didn't the white girl closed mouth smile at me today? Tell me I'm beautiful, then hack apart my body, wear my lips, ass, and hair like a costume. Didn't she sell all 13 of my children and lynch my husband? Didn't she ask me to be quiet one too many times? And didn't I bruise a black man's ego swole today? Ask him to stop calling my scars sacrifices, calling my suffering an inconvenience, a blemish on the black man's movement, as if MLK didn't suck milk from a black woman's tit. But ain't I a bitch? Ain't I bitter? Ain't I divisive by accident? Don't I complicate the revolution with all my grievances? Ain't I still grieving? Ain't this my middle finger? And I'm finally done apologizing. I'm not an obstacle to navigate through. I'm the reason you are breathing. The feet that trod out the path, even the light that subverted all your darkness. Am I not the pulse of every one of your revolts? Ain't I a woman? Ain't I a woman? Ain't this a rhetorical question? Thank you. That's first poem. So I really wish I could be with you all in person. Right now I'm chatting with you from Brooklyn, New York, but I'm based in Philly. And so if you hear random sirens or sidewalk arguments, it's because it's Bed-Stuy. So, but just to get into the next poem, I was invited to an event hosted by the African American Policy Forum. And the purpose of the event was to honor and provide a platform for mothers of the movement, particularly mothers who had lost their daughters to police violence. And I was invited to read Ain't I a Woman, which I just did for y'all. And I did the poem, and I came down off the stage, and these mothers were hugging me, and they were thanking me. And all I could think about was the fact that I didn't know so many of their daughters' names. And I had to really sit with why that was. Because I knew Trayvon Martin was, I knew Tamir Rice was, I knew who Oscar Grant was, Amadou Diallo. I knew all of these Black boys and men's names, but I wasn't able to recite the names of Black women who had suffered similar fates. And so I went home and I wrote this next poem. It's called Apathy is Guilt. Apathy is guilt, another sister's name to forget. I tell myself I don't have space in my throat for another name, but I do. America hands me a Black boy's name and tells me to repeat it loud, and I do. Now a Black man can't say I don't love him. Look at all these Black boys crawling out my throat. The more names I say, the better the echo, the prettier the song. I say India Kager, and it is flat and awkward. I learned Black girls should go quietly. But brothers Ben knew that. No, the revolution always came in fragments, that Black women, being Black women, will drag their ragged bones through the dirt to flatten a lovely even path or sneak a loophole in a Black man's noose, even if he don't deserve salvation. And there will always be a woman who doesn't call the police on her boyfriend because she's seen what happened to her cousin. So she climbs inside her own lungs, says her own name, faces the dogs and gunfire in her own house, marches in her own kitchen, swallows her own body, then swallows her own body again. When a Black man says we too full of ourselves, that's what they mean. Our lives worth less than our sons, and they all know that. Shit, I know that. But I'd be tired by the time I'm through praying my knees raw for a boy who does not love me. And I'd be tired by the time I'm through saying my own name. Every Black woman I know got her hands full or tied for the sake of someone else. And you could look us all in the eye and say, do something about it. We might suck our teeth or sigh, say, I just got a lot on my plate right now. And watch another sister go, then go missing, guilty of it, but not ashamed. Thank you. Another inspiration for that last poem, I had a professor at Temple University named Daniela Wright, and she taught a class. Maybe it wasn't Daniela Wright. It might have been Ife. But I took a class called The Black Woman at Temple University, and we were talking about how the justice system affects Black women differently because we're seen as support systems for our communities. And so if we're trying to hold another man in our community accountable, it's always looked at as us trying to tear down the community when we're really just trying to protect ourselves from violence. And that kind of leads me into another poem I wrote. So I live in a tiny apartment, just like most people on the East Coast, and it costs too much money for how much space I have, just like most people on the East Coast. And one time my roommate had someone over, like maybe it was a date, I don't even know. But it was just a man there. And I just got the worst feeling in my stomach, not because like I thought that he would do anything to me, but there's this like uncanny feeling that happens when you think that you're in a safe space that is just for yourself and another Black woman, and then you realize that there is someone else there, and how there's so much trauma that triggers that feeling. And we don't even really have control over how we react because it's all about survival at that point. But with that being said, I wrote this poem. It's called "The House Guest Eats My House," or "I Eat the House Guest." My roommate invited a man into our apartment, and I saw his body swallow the whole room like water draining from the bath. If you asked, I would have reluctantly called this fear, but I know it is something less immediate. I mean, the boy got pretty teeth and someone I love trusts him, but all the stories start this way. And part of me is really, really ashamed of the way my stomach tightens when a man just is. And part of me is not sorry at all. If this is not fear, I will call it stretching before running, tasting a wound before it claims a limb, the saliva that coats your mouth before the sick. And yes, it matters that he is Black, so much so that I am tired of repeating myself. Sometimes he is cannibal, is brimming with incestuous want, is devouring his sister's whole, is sitting with his legs spread in my classroom or church or living room. And it matters that he was invited here, that I was expecting him. Or my roommate invited a man into our apartment. Before I saw him, I felt him swallow the whole room. After I saw him, he retched it all back. Before I saw him, I saw his shoes by the door. After I saw him, he shrunk to the size of a thimble. Before I saw him, I saw his roach in the ashtray. After I saw him, he was a roach. Before I saw him, he was sitting wide-crotched and heavy on my sofa. After I saw him, he scattered to the dust beneath it. Before I saw him, I heard him laugh at a joke I wasn't invited to. After I saw him, he was a joke. Before I saw him, I saw his urine on the seat. After I saw him, he flushed down the bowl. Before I saw him, he called me a bitch. After I saw him, he bitched. Before I saw him, I saw his glass in the sink. After I saw him, he was the swill. Before I saw him, I saw his shadow on the floor. After I saw him, he dropped through it. So I rearranged the furniture, put the dish rags in the wash. I open up the curtains and let the sun pour in. I water the plants. I burn sage and sing a good blessing. What I mean is, a safe space becomes a tunnel when a man enters. What I mean is, a woman is the light at the end. What I mean is, the light at the end is a train. What I mean is, all y'all niggas getting run over. Thank you, that's that one. Whew, okay. All right. We're gonna pretty much most of the time that I spent in college, I've now been out for longer than I even want to admit. But most of the time I spent in college was realizing like how shitty society was and how difficult it is to exist inside of multiple identities. And this was also the first time I really understood my mother to be, like, I knew my mother was a Black woman, obviously, but to know that she's not just a Black woman, she's also experiencing and has been experiencing for decades longer the things that I'm just now discovering and just now becoming enraged about. And there was a really vulnerable moment in my life and towards the, like right after I graduated college when my father got sick. And then he passed away in 2017. That's like the beginning of 2017. And in the process of grieving, I realized that I needed to not deify my father and erase my mother's experience. And my father is a great man. He was a teacher. He was very sensitive. He was a writer. He was a comedian. But nobody is perfect. And the way that I decided to grieve him was to try my best to see him as a whole person and to try my best to understand the love between him and my mother. And so a couple years ago, maybe like 2 years ago, maybe it was longer than that, I don't even know, but I was in a screening of If Beale Street Could Talk, the Barry Jenkins film, his second major release. And if you haven't seen that film or read the book by James Baldwin, you should, because it got me in my feelings. And I immediately went on the train and started crying and wrote this next poem. Okay, I'm gonna start it. My mama likes to tell the story of when her and my daddy bought their first matches together, and he jumped and shouted in the street like a damn fool. She loved that man and still do. My mama remember everything. When my daddy tells stories about the project staircase and the rock fights and the bones he broke, she'd laugh and shake her head because thank God it isn't happening anymore. I imagine her pregnant, working the counter at Tiffany's, placing diamonds on white women's fingers. Then I imagine her face when my daddy said they had to go back to St. Louis to get his mother out the projects. Sometimes she'd surrender the battle for the sake of the war. Daddy'd gamble down in Jersey, and my mama would bargain hunt at the grocery store. Daddy'd go out with Uncle Goo and come back drunk with his window shattered, and mama's head would expand while she swallowed all her teeth. When he got sick, it felt like he was giving her another thing to do. A man is a hardship all his own, but once his heart starts to go, he becomes a different task. I swear she told him to go to the doctor 50 times before he did, and she didn't even have to tell me that, I just know. And I swear I love my daddy like he loved me, almost as much as he loved my mama. But I see her now and see a beautiful woman worn from the use that love demands. Though none of us got a choice. If you Black, it will happen to your body. And if it doesn't happen to you, you got to watch from the other side of the prison glass, or from the upstairs window, or from the waiting room with the hospice nurse. I don't quite know who to be angry at. Men, white folks, or the use that love demands. I see my mother and think I am destined to be unraveled like a spool of wool. To be Black and in love is to be at odds with something. My mother sleeps in a too big room with her face to his ashes. I cry more thinking about her collapsing when the doctors failed him than when I think about his still body afterwards. A man and some white folks conspiring to steal all the light out of Black woman's eyes. Lord knows she told him to go to the doctor 50 times. She did everything to keep him here, and he still left. Ain't that just like a man? My daddy would wear a jacket and tie to the hospital so the doctors would call him by his name. My mama did everything she could to remind them, and they still called him the patient. Ain't that just like white folks? Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know who to be angry at. I just know I want to lay my mama down in a field of irises, pick her a fig from her mama's tree, gift her back to Memphis during a hazy summer, and let her rest somewhere no one can touch her. Thank you. All right. I think that was enough difficult poems. This next poem is a poem that I wrote for a friend of mine, Yanni Mo. And so Yanni Mo is a rapper, singer, musician. And she wanted me to write an outro for her first album called The Moment. And her whole album is really an homage to Black women, and specifically Black queer women. And it was just a lot of fun writing this for Yanni, just because it's kind of like an ode, and it made me smile writing it. So I hope it makes you smile. Baby girl, I hope the city smile on you. I hope they erect a steel bridge and unfurl 20 miles of highway for you. I hope the thunder booms and claps out a black rainbow for you. And I hope it rains a hot, sweet brown liquor on you. Baby girl, I hope your mama good to you. Baby girl, I hope them checks got your name on them. I want your skin a soft Georgia clay. Baby girl, I hope something blooms for you. I hope you jump high enough to be mourning. Baby girl, I hope them niggas is listening. Hope these niggas ain't asking for a lot when you ain't got a pot to piss in. I hope the haters hot. I hope there's no more funerals. I hope the angels is looking down on you. And I hope the baby's looking up to you. I hope you slick oil on scalp and your kinks coil for you, baby girl. I hope your baby texts you first. I hope her lips smooth out every knot in your back for you. Baby girl, I hope you're comfortable in the quiet. I hope your love fills all the cracks in the wall until the walls crack and they fall, baby girl. I hope this isn't only a moment. Baby girl, I want this eternal. I want your past, present, and future to converge under this lavender sky. I want the soft grass pressing against your soul. I want the roots to remind you that soft things rise from the dirt too, baby girl. I want soft things for you. Baby girl, I want you to know that you earned it. Baby girl, I want you to know that you deserve it. Thank you. Y'all should definitely check out Yanni Mo's music. It's just great. I really enjoyed it. I was a fan before she invited me down to record. She's based in Atlanta, and she's just dope as hell. So I'll probably link to that when I'm done with the set in the live chat, so y'all can check it out, and also check out some other links from where I've been published if you want to cop that anthology. It's just I think it just got released, or it just got released, so you can get the anthology Mouths of Rain, an anthology of Black lesbian thought that just dropped. Ain't I a Woman is in it, along with really important works by writers like Audre Lorde and Alice Walker, and literally every queer Black woman writer from the last century is in that joint. So I'll link to that too. But enough about links. Okay, this next one is for the queers once again. So I was on Twitter, one of those hellscapes, and I was seeing an argument between dudes on Twitter about what they would do if they found out that their son was gay. And everybody was like, people were casually talking about how they would literally kill or beat their child for being queer. So I do want to give a content warning for mention of violence and mention of sexual assault is not in detail, but I do say the R word. Yeah, I just wrote this because it's just like a call out, and I find that it makes men angry, which is fine, because I know that if it made them angry, then they'd probably realize that the poem was about them. And I don't think they need to feel comfortable when it's time to talk about the oppression of people besides themselves, because the thing about oppression is that it pretty much operates very, very similarly regardless of what you are being oppressed for. It makes it harder to find work. It makes you more likely to live in poverty. It makes you more likely to be the victim of violence. Like, all of these things are true across the board when it comes to being oppressed for any marginalized identity. And so it's always weird when one oppressed group doesn't understand or refuses to understand the oppression of another, or understand how those identities can overlap and intersect and layer in ways that make, you know, a person's experience different from theirs, or puts them more at risk than them. So this poem went through a couple stages of title. I settled at a conversation about force, but it was originally titled "A Lot of You Niggas." So, because there's about a lot of you niggas out there. Not saying any names, you know who you are. All right. This one nigga keeps saying we need to stop forcing that gay shit on him. I ask, can you define force? And this nigga says, shoving it down his throat, says, making him fear for his children, says, destroying Black families out here. So I turn around to address a room full of my sisters. I ask, are y'all familiar with this word force? And they all say, yeah. I ask if they think this nigga got the definition right. And they all say, yeah. So I ask this nigga if he knows what irony means. And he says, I think it's when you try to force something to lay flat, and we say, wrong word, that's ironing. And then we don't laugh, but language is funny though. Once, a white man cited the First Amendment to call me a nigger and then told me to shut up. I protested. Once we excluded white women from our safe space, and they asked how we would feel if it were the other way around. I mean, that's funny. How an oppressor cannot feel all that power buoying in their spit, how a lot of you niggas call yourselves pro-Black and then fix your lips to hate me, how all your words for fear are just metaphors for our lived violence. If a revolution is a collection of words, then a book might as well be a gun. You know, Eldridge Cleaver raped Black women as a way to practice raping white women. And a lot of y'all niggas quote that book. I saw this one dude threaten to kill his own son for being queer, and a lot of y'all like that tweet. So if we are talking about force, and if it means shoving a dangerous thing down an unwilling throat, if it is a threat to our children, and if it does in fact destroy Black families, then we cannot talk about force without talking about a lot of you niggas. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I did that poem at a local open mic, and this dude who I hate got so upset that he left. And I was like, great, my poem worked. So this next poem is going to be my last poem. It is a poem that is near and dear to my heart. It is about what it was like growing up in Germantown, which is a neighborhood in Philly. It's a very Black neighborhood. And there's some references that I want to give context for, but I'll give it at the end. But anyway, this is really a love poem to my community, and also, you know, love is complicated. Love can be a little toxic. It's not always perfect, but you know, it is what it is. So this poem is called Uptown Baby, which is the nickname, another name for Germantown. Bastard of Green Manor Apartments, uptown baby born in the slow pumping heart of G-Town, uptown lucky born west of Brickyard, where Black girls with difficult names jump double dutch in the parking lot, the click clack of barrettes and cuss words they learned in the barber shop, and Muslim boys as perched sparrows on the Ave, beards peeking through Black skin like budding roses, oils strapped across their chests, sweet artillery named Amber White or Louis V, the scent that carried you back to your mama's house even if you didn't want it to. God bless the poppy on Wayne whose name you never learned, the brown men in the dollar store whose names you never learned, the homemade incense bought and burned in your windowsill, the day's soda staining your cotton mouth red, the rivers flowing through the cobblestone cracks after a soft rain. Uptown baby who never left her block. Remember that time they found a body in the chicken spot? Or the time that bakery on Schoolhouse got busted for crack? How the neighborhood didn't stop moving for a second. How it didn't even blink. Because that body wasn't nobody's business. Because the white prep school mothers were the real threat. Because the men with tattoos on their cheeks called you sister. And the men whose names you never learned let you slide when you were short a quarter. Because safety wasn't always about life and death, because safety was about feeling seen. So you went to Chestnut Hill to take up space, and the white folks still asked what you were doing there, even when you were standing in a wide open field. Uptown baby begging for the bright soft of clean grass. Uptown baby buying blueberry blunt wrap, smoking G-Town Brown on Mermaid Lane. Bastard of Green Manor born west of Brickyard. When niggas ain't really dying like that, but they still dying though. And you never learned their names because you never left your block. G-Town as an ocean where every brown face is a current. G-Town as an ocean where the police are the white caps signaling a storm. Where if the tide comes in, the corner boys just move to higher ground. G-Town as a lesson in preservation. When niggas ain't really living like that, but they still living though. Because the Jamaican spot that you first fired is still there. The library your grandma used to take you to is still there. The home that your father died building is still there. Your mother is still there. In the kitchen, in the house shoes you bought her for Kwanzaa, washing collard greens in the sink, Sunday dinner singing from the stove, setting the table for folks just passing through. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Context. So the body in the chicken spot. That chicken spot was a Popeyes. And the reason I said chicken spot is because right after they found the body in the Popeyes, for like 2 months, they changed the name of the Popeyes from Popeyes to Louisiana Chicken, which like it had different colors and everything. It was just like a completely different chicken spot. And then we were just supposed to act like we didn't remember that somebody found a body in there. That's kind of dark, but you know, sometimes neighborhoods have situations like that. And it can be kind of funny. So the other spot, the cake, the bakery that got busted for crack, it was a front, you know, they were selling cake, but they were really selling crack out of there. And it was called the Cake Place, which I'm like, if you're doing a cover, you know, a front business, you should maybe get more creative with naming it. Just, I mean, you might as well call it like, we don't sell crack here, which is very suspicious. But anyway, one of my uncles was going in there to buy a cake for his fiance, and he went in there. They had one cake, just one, like, it was like a grocery store cake, and he was like, "Well, can I taste a sample of some cake?" And they were like, "We don't got no knives." Cake Place had no knives, only one cake. So yeah, they shut that shit down quick. I just think it's fun when you live somewhere for a long time, all the little urban myths and legends that sort of pop up. But they did go to the back and they did get a knife. It was a plastic knife from the Popeyes, actually. So, you know, it all came full circle. I want to thank you all for having me tonight. I'm about to drop like mad links. First and foremost, I want to drop the link to my website because, I mean, let's be real, it was rough for freelancers this past year. I don't even know how to drop the link. I'm gonna drop it in the Zoom, and then maybe somebody else can drop the link for me. But yeah, so if you could support me by buying my book, a lot of the poems that you heard tonight published in that book. Also, if another way to support is to support folks who supported me, and I'm want to drop the link to Mouths of Rain, so you can order that, John, ASAP. They've already been getting harassed by straight white men, so you know, leave a review also. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. I wish that I could be with you in person. Hopefully, I'll be on the West Coast, and we'll get to, you know, do the hugs and the book signing and all that good stuff very, very, very soon. So thank you again. Happy Women's History Month. And I'm going to shoot it back to Kenny.
Thank you so much, Kai. Really appreciate it. All of that work, all of the words you said really hit. So I appreciate you. We all appreciate you. Thank you for being our featured artist tonight. For our March open mic in honor of Women's Herstory Month. Also wanted to give thanks and shout out to Aisha for being my co-host and being our featured student artist. Also, huge thanks to the Student Union and the Gen X Center, the Gender Equity Center in full, for being our partners. And also, not last but not least, thank you to the Mosaic team. Thank you for holding it down, and for, you know, all the support. Please check out our next open mic. That's going to be in April, April 8th. April 8th, yes, at 6 p.m. It's going to be the APITA Heritage Month. We got some dope artists in line, so please keep in touch. Watch out for our flyers and our call outs. If you or anyone you know is APITA identifying, and you're like, yo, they should like sign up, they should be the student featured artists, you know, they get some gold points. So please let us know, let them know. Go to our Instagram. We have all our links there. You can message us there at SJSU Mosaic. And yes, thank you so much, y'all, for coming. Appreciate you. eat well, rest well, do some homework, study, do what you gotta do. And yeah, have a good night.